Hello, this is my Crazy Ex channel. Please subscribe.
My friend cheated on her husband. Story 1-2. This friend and I had been close since high school. I considered her a best friend. I saw her marry her husband about 5 or 6 years ago, and they have been really great friends. We're all in our late 20s. Recently we've been through some changes. Her personality has been less kind and overall just cruel. Last year I hadn't seen her, and since she was in school, I assumed it was due to homework and tests. When I finally did see her earlier this year, we caught up, and right before she left, she tells me she had an affair. She said she had no regrets, just that it was a passionate, short-lived affair that she didn't want to end but knew it had to, and that it was something she needed to let me know because she told her husband she had been with me instead. She cheated on her husband and used me as the excuse, along with a lot of other changes in her personality. Knowing this hurt me most. Her husband is a great person who helped me find work, and I feel grateful for his help. My boyfriend was appalled when he heard this, and he said he didn't want her to be at our house. I agreed, and when I tried to talk reason into her over the phone, she was adamant that if she told her husband that her world would be over and so would his. I told her he needed to hear the truth and that they needed to communicate. My friend and her husband had even discussed seeing other people in the past, and he was firm on not dating or seeing anyone else. So she knowingly broke that trust with him. This has torn me apart. I stopped talking to this person and her husband. I felt awful when I accidentally ran into them at a party. I couldn't talk to either of them. I was going to our mutual friends for support, but she had asked me not to tell anyone. I want to tell my friends. Especially since we have another friend who is getting a divorce and unknowingly looking for advice from my married friend who cheated. Please, can anyone give me advice on this? Edit. I did not mention that it was her second time cheating. First time was a one-time fling. Second time was an affair that lasted a while but had ended. Edit 2. Thank you to everyone for much of the advice. It seemed to be either to stay out of it, it's not my business, or tell him because he deserves the truth. That's pretty much been my problem for the past few months. Not knowing what to do and not sure what the right thing is to do. I think I made my decision but have no idea how to tell him. This would be one of the hardest things I've had to do in my life, and I have so much anger towards her for this. Redditors' reactions. Redditor 1. I felt like I was enabling my friend when I found out about a similar situation. I'm also a terrible liar and could not say anything. If she had no remorse, her actions could be repeated. Eventually she will be caught. IDK. I just feel like it's better to find out sooner rather than later for the husband, because realizing that multiple people knew of the affairs would seem more devastating. People who cared about him knew and let it continue? Double ouch. Redditor follow up. I agree with this guy, just assuming. Sorry if you're a girl, haha. She said she feels no remorse, so it's likely to happen again and she will eventually get caught. When she gets caught, she'll spill that you knew, and her husband will probably be upset with you for knowing and not telling him. If you don't care to have this person in your life anymore, give her a time limit. Tell him this week, this month, by this date, or I will have to tell him. Good luck. Redditor 2. I want to tell my friends. What will you accomplish by telling all of your other friends? Who needs to be told the most is the husband. Your friend who cheated on him shouldn't have done it in the first place. It's her fault for opening her mouth to you and spilling the beans, and now the burden of truth is on you. If you go around and say this to your other friends, the husband will eventually find out the hard way. If the husband is a friend of yours, you should tell him. Your wife friend betrayed his trust and, as far as I'm concerned, shouldn't be considered a friend anymore. She did something terrible, and it's worse when she doesn't regret it. Screw her. Go tell him, and don't go around telling everybody else. It's none of their business except his. Answer, except I'm not as close to him. And I've been told by a few people outside of this situation, that he needs to hear it from her, not from me. When we last spoke, I told her she needs to think about things and absolutely talk to him. She said she'd think about it. I guess I've just been hoping she'd be the one to tell him. But you're right. I shouldn't be telling our friends since it's not their business. I just needed to talk. Redditor 3. I'm shocked at how many people recommend that it's not your problem and to stay out of it. What a cop-out. She is a serial cheater. It's twice that you know of, and there will be more. She is completely unremorseful. This poor guy is wasting his life living a lie. You have the truth that will at least let him make honest decisions based on the truth. Give him that choice. Take pity on him. Redditor 4, she cheated on her husband and used me as the excuse. What? Her husband is a great person who helped me find work and I feel grateful for his help. Her husband has done you a solid in the past. Now it's time to pay him back. Answer, I was used as the excuse in that she told her husband she was spending time hanging out with me, when she was actually cheating on him. Then she told me after she had the affair that she told him we had been spending time together when actually I had hardly seen her in months previous. Redditor 5, I would tell the husband. He deserves to know, and she put that burden on you unfortunately. She's a total bitch for doing that, by the way. But honestly, the right thing to do is to tell him. Imagine that the roles were reversed and he was in a position to tell you that your so had cheated on you or keep it to himself. What would you want him to do? Redditor 6, don't tell your friends and stay out of it. You're not speaking to her anymore, so forget it and move on. Or tell her husband and prepare to be hated by both of them. Either way, they are out of your life, but with the second option, at least the husband knows the truth and can make a choice to leave or stay. Redditor 7, your friend is not going to tell her husband of her own volition. That's the thing people say, oh, just tell your friend to come clean. As if a liar and a cheater is going to be like, that's a great idea, why didn't I think of that? Not going to happen. I'm sure she'd sooner take it to the grave with her. I would recommend telling the husband either through email or by phone or meeting in person if you can manage it. I know you're best friends and all, but how does she seriously run her mouth off to you about the affair and expect you to keep it a secret? I mean, it's like bragging about a crime after having committed it and expecting no one to go to the police. Delusional. Redditor 8, tell him. She brought you into it when she used you to lie to him. You also were at their wedding and the people at a wedding have a duty to the marriage. There is also the chance she would bring home a disease or another guy's baby. Warn him ASAP. She's a cheating skank too, so you're not losing anyone who is trustworthy as a friend. I mean, look what she does to the guy she supposedly loves. She'd throw you under a bus given any chance. Redditor 9, I can't believe what's happened to morality and decent humanity. Tell him for crying out loud. Redditor 10, she involved you. She used you as a means to hide the affair. You have every right to go to him as she has made you an accomplice without you knowing. When it comes out, and it will, you will be seen as complicit in the affair. Redditor 11, no one was married in this situation, but my best friend told me she cheated on her boyfriend, and I told him. Somehow he liked me less, and her and I are still best friends. I suspect that she told me knowing I would tell, though I have a tendency to do the right thing. Redditor 12, here is always the easiest way to make decisions. Put yourself in the other party's shoes. You would want to know. It would hurt like hell, you might not believe them initially, but you wouldn't want to live the rest of your life believing that you can trust this person when in reality you can't. That she has cheated multiple times and doesn't regret doing it says even more that it is not a one-time thing. She will cheat again. And she will eventually get caught, or it will come out in some way when she drinks a little too much one night and they argue or something else. And when it happens years from now, they may have kids, they will have their lives much more entangled together than they are now, etc. You absolutely most likely will lose your friend, and the husband may not even believe you. But you still should try. It is the right thing to do. That said, I wouldn't tell your friends, it isn't their place to know, although you may want to consider gently telling your friend looking for advice from the cheater that they should look elsewhere for advice. Redditor 13, how about a compromise solution? First, keep your mouth shut. It's not your marriage, you're not close enough to the husband that it should come from you, and telling mutual friends is just spreading the drama around. Second, meet up with your friend and tell her that while you won't tell anyone, you also won't be her alibi, so if her husband ever calls you and asks about her whereabouts, you refuse to lie to him. Watch friend live in fear for the next few years. Redditor follow up, I think the frenemy will then make it her goal in life to assassinate the op's character at every opportunity. Redditor 14, tell your friend she had to tell her husband unless you are going to and see what happens. Redditor 15, well, just because she cheated doesn't mean she can't give good advice. Other than that, what everyone else said. Redditor 16, that was supremely selfish of her. I would question my respect for someone if they did this to their spouse. Redditor 17, as a kid that's been through shit like that, please let him know before they have kids. That's all. Redditor 18, if it was a one-time thing that had let her wrecked with guilt and recommitted to the relationship, I'd say do nothing, but this doesn't sound like that. She doesn't sound guilty, just covering her ass. And if that's the life she wants to lead, whether he approves or not, then he should know that that's her decision, even if she didn't have the balls to be the one to tell him. Redditor 19, tell the husband before it gets worse. Redditor 20, whether you tell him or not, I think you're under no obligation to keep this a secret for her. I'd tell her that if her husband ever brings it up, you'll refuse to corroborate her story. And given how much this is bothering you, you should warn her that you'll tell whoever you need to in order to get over being used in that way. That will help you deal, preserve your integrity, and probably scare her into coming clean on her own. Story 2-2. Wife 30F cheated when we were dating and living together 38 meters. Hi everyone. I'm a little crushed and confused right now. Thanks for sticking with me on this long post. Backstory, me 38 meters and wife 30F, no kids yet, have been married for almost a year now. She has been getting deep into her faith in the past 2 years, which I support, but I'm not religious. Part of this journey culminated in her wanting to confess to me, which she did 3 days ago, that she cheated on me during the end of 2017, early 2018. The cheating happened with her boss at the time, who I knew, and even discussed with her multiple times, hired her solely because he wanted her. Think corporate higher up in a big company. She clearly did not have the experience or credentials needed for the job, but whatever, she is a go-getter, smart, and can talk a good game. Everyone needs a chance, right? Anyway, talking to her early on after she got hired, she found out her boss has a history of trying to and having time with employees. Fast forward, she worked for him for about 1.5 years if I remember correctly, and eventually it ended bad with her going to HR because of numerous management work-related issues from what I know. She didn't mention the affair to HR, although now that I am typing this I should re-ask her about this. Anyway, she switched teams in the company and that was that. So a few days ago she tells me while we are about to go to sleep that she has done terrible things in the past. I ask like what? Eventually she said she flirted with this boss. I then question what filtering means and she said talking dirty and grinding on him, dry humping him. I then started asking direct questions like, did you have time? No. Did you give him a blow job? No. Did you give him a hand job? No. Did you grab his DCK? Yes. How many times? Multiple times. Did you kiss him? Yes. I then asked her to tell me everything and she didn't add much, but denied having time with him after I asked multiple times. She's crying intensely at this time. We then get out of bed, turn the light on, and I told her to look me in the eye and tell me everything. She didn't add any more details. I then asked her to swear to God that she didn't have time with him or do anything else. She did and said no, I didn't do anything else with him. I assumed that swearing to God meant a lot to her as she has become very religious as of late. We go to bed. We then woke up the next morning and eventually started talking more. She then casually mentioned she got STD tested during this time. I asked why? She said because I had time with him. I then found out she had time with him multiple times of the period of 3 months. She said she can't remember how many times she had time with him, but more than 5 times and less than 10 times she claims. She said the time happened after work when they were getting drinks. She would get drunk and he would have a room booked close by, think very big city. She said each time they had time, she gave him blow jobs, basically all the stuff. We don't drink often and she's a lightweight. I am big into health and fitness. I then said, why did you continue to lie to me last night and even lied when swearing to God? She said she was scared and froze up. She said she had to tell me as this was weighing her down tremendously as she is on her journey to become a better person, which she has made a lot of progress in the past couple of years. She has said multiple times that she told me because it was holding her back and thus holding us back in our relationship. That she told me to better our relationship. This cheating affair happened about 3+ years into us seriously dating. The first 6 months of dating we were dating long distance and would fly to see each other every month or so. We then moved in together and had been living together for over 2 years when this affair happened. So she kept it a secret for about the past 4 years. Our relationship has always had big ups and downs due to her having a tough early family life with mental abuse, as well as her being in some terrible previous relationships. We would get into big fights because she wanted to get engaged, and I wasn't ready. Looking back, she even started major fights related to not being engaged during the time of the affair. When I say major fights, they were pretty ugly from a yelling perspective, not physical. She has a big anger issue, childhood stuff. I'm pretty chill for the most part, but after a series of constantly fighting, I would find myself raging right back at her level, something I never did previously and am not proud of. Almost all of our major fights were about us not being engaged and why. And once we got engaged, we literally stopped fighting. She started 99% of fights, but it takes 2 to tango. On top of that, during this period I had a chronic health issue I was dealing with that was zapping my libido, so we were only having time like every 2 weeks on average, not ideal. Eventually, we worked through everything. I love her a lot, she loves me a lot. We got married about a year ago and everything has been pretty great. She is still working through some issues, aren't we all? I am at the tail end of this chronic health issue I had been dealing with and feeling a ton better. And then she drops this bomb on me. I am very surprised at how calm I have been since she told me. Even though this happened about 4 years ago, before marriage, I am still really confused, let down, heartbroken, crushed, somewhat angry deep down, disgusted thinking about this guy having time with my now wife multiple times and how it went down over the period of multiple months, and most of all, my trust in her has obviously taken a major hit. I am very grateful she told me. She said that she had to tell me as this was really weighing her down and she thinks it was holding our relationship back. She has been extremely apologetic, crying a lot, telling me it will never happen again, and that she is a totally different person than she was about 4 years ago. She will do anything to make this work. I told her I need some time to process this. We both work remotely from home now, so we see each other all day every day. I always said to myself that if anyone ever cheated on me, it would be over, that's it. Now I am thinking I think I can forgive her, but not sure if I will ever fully trust her. She has a past history of lying as well that I didn't mention. Usually revolved around self-compensation, and propping herself. Lots of self-love and worth issues, again most likely due to childhood trauma, mental abuse. The past few days I even find myself looking at couples in public and wondering if one of them cheated on the other. If I would have found out about this before marriage, especially during the time we were fighting a lot about not being engaged, I would have almost certainly ended our relationship. But because we have grown a lot since then, are married, don't really fight anymore, I am questioning my young self saying I would end a relationship no matter what. Again, I feel like I will be able to eventually forgive her, but not sure if I will ever fully trust her. I am a very principles-driven guy and trust is everything. Thanks for sticking with me as I pour out my feelings. I'm thankful for any advice you can give as I weigh what my next move will be. Redditors' reactions. Redditor 1, I'd break up with her, pronto, no fucks given. Wouldn't shout at her or insult her, it would be emotionless, it's over, pack your things and leave. No tears, nothing, just act like it's nothing. Op answer, thanks for the advice. This may be the outcome. Still taking time to let things sink in. Redditor 2, no kids, I would reevaluate your marriage. Take your time and think it out, you're in no rush, don't know, knock her up. I'm guessing you still don't have all the truth and probably never will. You want your wife to be with you in the good times and the bad. Doesn't sound like her, my friend. Trust and loyalty are everything. Op answer, good point. That is the hardest part for me. I told her that I think I will be able to forgive her, but the question is whether I will truly be able to trust her or not. Redditor 3, I would divorce if it were me. I couldn't look at her the same and I would not be able to trust her after hiding it for so long. There's no excuse. This happened repeatedly. You will most likely always think about this guy and her. And in your own words, you don't think you'll ever be able to fully trust her. Without trust there is no marriage. Op answer, yeah, I have been having some visions of them too in my head and it's definitely not helping. I have been even seeing other couples in public and asking myself, I wonder if either of them cheated on the other? Redditor 4, she even flat out lied when she was being honest with you. Like, really think about that. Redditor follow up, my thoughts exactly. She couldn't even tell all the truth when she's telling the truth. Op, maybe you can forgive her, but I'd never ever trust her again. Think about whether you want to spend the rest of your life wondering. Redditor 5, you will never look at her the same nor trust her, and I would tell her that she is forever tainted with the smell of a cheater and you can wash that out. Brother, if yen stays she will force you to DNA every child you have. Redditor 6, the longer you are married the more it will cost you. Get out now before she forgets about God again and goes back to her old ways. She opened the door for you, take it and get what you need somewhere else. Op answer, that's the way I've been thinking about it today. Like, maybe this is a signed chance for me to exit before things get even more serious, with kids, etc. It's just so damn hard thinking of leaving her as we're best friends and do everything together and have so much in common. Starting over at 38 is not something I would look forward to. This really is the toughest decision I have had to make in my life up until this point. Redditor 7, well, at the very least I would insist on her reporting him since he has a pattern of this. And confess to his wife, if he has one. BC, she deserves to know and he's never going to stop. Op answer, yeah, the guy is a total poss. Total sleaze. I don't even know if he works there anymore TBH. Redditor 8, if trust is your big thing and you won't be able to trust her, you know what is the next step? I almost left my husband for finding out he flirted with a girl while we dated. It's a line that was crossed. The fact that she was willing to go her entire life without telling you is the biggest issue. She only told you because she wanted to make herself be closer to God. The sins and crap. If she didn't go the religious route, she probably never would have told you. Op answer, that's a very good point. I've been asking myself lately whether I am truly glad she told me or if I would have been happier if I did never find out. Redditor 9, nothing in your post provided an explanation for her decision to cheat. You basically described a typical relationship and a person with everyday issues. Your wife sounds like most people, but most don't cheat. Her confession, tears and newfound religion does not by itself make her a safe partner. Op answer, wise words, thanks. Yeah, sometimes I blame myself for the health stuff I was going through, which was causing libido issues for me. Redditor 10, everyone is saying get out of there. They are probably correct, but they are not you. I would probably get out of there too. But you have to run your own race. I say go with your gut, after giving yourself some time to let your nerves settle. And after speaking with her more if you need clarity. Make the decision in a moment of clarity, and remove yourself. If this was happening to your best friend, what would you tell him? Op answer, good points. I am thinking I want to reach out to a couple of close friends for advice. Do you think that is weird and I should just handle it between her and I? Redditor 11, stick to your guns. Cheaters equals out the door. If she will do that in a committed relationship, what is going to change? You say you can't trust her. Well, how will that work if either one of you change your jobs or your work changes so that you are not spending all day together? There are humps in relationships after the first 1-2 honeymoon stage years, but betrayal is betrayal. She should have ended things with you, if she wasn't happy. Not cheated on you. Sorry, I feel like if you forgive her now, it will just be another heartache waiting to happen. Op answer, yeah, that is exactly what I told her. When we were talking yesterday, she said since I hadn't proposed, she basically thought we were going to break up. I told her that if we did break up for X amount of time and then she slept with this guy, and then we got back together, I literally care zero. It's the fact that we were still in a serious relationship when she did it. Redditor 12, huge issue for me was you warned her. Besides the cheating and the lying. But she didn't trust you enough to listen to your advice. 3 strikes you're out. Op answer, yeah, very good point. I think there is a lot of deep-seated man issues at play here and not sure if they will change anytime soon. Redditor 13, do you want to remain with someone who lied to your face every single day for years? Op answer, good point. She said that she just blocked it out of her memory and it just came back recently when she confessed it at church. Redditor 14, hey op, I'm not going to say you should stay with her or even leave her, but simply ask you a question. For me, this would be a huge determining factor whether if I could work past the infidelity. You said she was going through self-betterment and trying to be a better person. She said that this was holding her relationship with you back. She had become more religious and wanted to become a better person. Now I tend to believe her when she says she will never cheat again and feels bad. She is trying to improve her life. This is all well and good. She knows cheating is wrong and will not do it again because she has become a new person. But, is she remorseful? You didn't say she was devastated because she hurt you. Does she feel awful because of the pain she caused you? Does she feel remorse for breaking vows she made with her husband? Is she crying because she did something so wrong to the love of her life? This to me would be huge in determining if I could try to work through it. Is this an exercise in her becoming a better person, or does she truly feel remorse and pain for hurting you? Without the true honest remorse, it will be tough to make this work. Op answer, great point. She does seem very remorseful as she has cried and apologized basically every day since she told me. And she apologizes for putting me through this. It does seem genuine, but with the huge slip of trust it is hard to figure out. She does also make excuses like she was depressed, she was sick mentally, and thought that we would break up soon. Redditor 15, the affair was years ago, but for you it just happened. It'll take you 5 years to heal and you may not get past this. Do nothing. Give yourself 90 days to decide and extend as necessary. Don't be surprised if you wake up soon one morning very angry. It's common to take 18 months to 2 years to decide to divorce. Op answer, that's good advice. I am taking things slow and letting everything set in. It still doesn't even feel totally real. Yesterday when we were talking, she was essentially making excuses as to what she was going through at the time, and she was depressed. And I kind of snapped for about 30 seconds and it was the first time I yelled. It did feel good to get it out though. Redditor 16, it sounds like she confessed to make herself feel better, to absolve herself of guilt. Not to help the relationship or be honest with you. She also trickle-truthed you when confessing. Cheating entails a lack of respect. Can you live with your wife not respecting you? That she actively lied to you many times for her own personal gain? I understand not wanting to end it and go through a huge life change, but I think you need to ask yourself a lot of hard questions. Redditor 17, well, now she knows she can blatantly lie to your face about binging other dudes behind your back and you won't do anything about it. Redditor 18, divorce, she cheated once, she will cheat again. You no longer have trust in her, that's a big thing, just tell her it's over and for her to leave. Don't let her take a damn thing of yours. It's despicable how somehow religion makes her come clean. No, the guilt of what she did to such a wonderful person like you is what made her come clean. Hell, she even lied about it at first. Just end things with her and leave her ass. You will find someone better, I guarantee it. Op answer, thanks. This may be the path I take. Even though what she did hurts a ton, imagining myself without her also breaks me up as we're so close. This is such a hard decision. Redditor 19, she cheated, then lied for years, confessed, continued to lie, and then confessed again. In what world do you even begin to trust her? I'd be gone. Op answer, that's a good play-by-play. Yeah, she definitely burned herself in the process of trying to come clean. The long-term trust issue is what I'm digging deep to figure out right now. Redditor 20, the danger in these kind of things are that sometimes this shit will hit hard 3 years from now when you do some mundane task.
Thanks for watching. Please subscribe.